Good afternoon, and welcome to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I am your host, Kevin King. He is I, and I am him, the 800 Credit Score Man himself. And once again, thank each and every one of you for coming in and listening to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I truly, truly appreciate it. So I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and you got all the stuff that you need to get from Thursday shopping and Friday shopping and small business Saturday, and I don't think there's anything necessarily on Sunday, but Monday, Cyber Monday, and then Tuesday was Giving Tuesday. So I hope you found yourself in a good position where you were able to give as well on Giving Tuesday. So again, thank you guys for coming in and listening to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. Today we are going to discuss some credit card faux pas, if you will. So some things that you shouldn't do with your credit cards. And why am I picking on credit cards at this particular time? Just a few weeks ago, we did a couple of shows talking about your utilization and what can impact your score. What do you have the most ability to impact your score on of those 5 factors that make up your credit score? And credit cards was the number one factor, as far as I'm concerned, that you are able to manipulate in your best interest. So we're going to talk about some things today in regards to your credit cards and some things that you shouldn't do, that you just absolutely shouldn't do, or some things that you should look at. So it's not all necessarily geared toward your credit score. Some of it is financially, like what's best for you financially. I always say, look, we're trying to increase your credit scores so you can lower the interest rates that you pay and thus save money. So we don't want to put you in a bag where you have an issue with your credit and credit cards that are costing you money, trying to save you money at every turn. So that's what we're going to discuss today on the 800 Credit Score Man Show. And you know, I got to give a couple shout outs. So I actually only have 3 shout outs. So let me remind you guys, if you have a shout out, if you have a birthday coming up, you've got an anniversary coming up, somebody had a baby, somebody's graduating from college, or middle of the year, they're graduating from high school, whatever it is, contact me and I'll give them a shout out on the show. I'll try to fit them in the show, and you can do that at 800@creditscoreman.com. That's my email address, 800@creditscoreman.com, or find me on any of those social media platforms as well, like Instagram, 800 Credit Score Man on Instagram. Same thing on Facebook. You can catch me there. And come join the Credit Score Comeback. So I had a lot of people interested in Credit Score Comeback, and for some reason, something's going on with that particular Facebook group where I couldn't add people at one point in time, but I think it's corrected. So come back, try to join the Credit Score Comeback as well on Facebook. So let me get these shout outs. So it's not a show. I told you it's not a show without a king getting a birthday shout out. So Gabrielle King, happy birthday to you. She celebrated a birthday earlier this week. That's my cousin. And I got to give a shout out to Latasha Crenshaw. She celebrated a birthday as well. And Grant Prather, who is one of my frat brothers from the Alpha chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. So happy birthday to you, Grant, as well. All right, so let's jump into some of these credit mistakes, or faux pas, if you will. The first thing you can do as a mistake is not checking your credit card statements. You've got to check your credit card statements, especially if you use them regularly. So, a lot of people use them to take advantage of the reward points and whatnot. You know, they may charge a lot every month, and then they'll pay it off at the end of the month. It's still vitally important that you check your statements for accuracy. So it could just be simply a mistake that someplace you charge something they overcharged you for, or what have you. Or it could be that, you have a charge on there that shouldn't be yours. Maybe you didn't buy this particular thing. Or maybe even you've got your credit card set up to pay one of your bills. And so maybe that bill amount was different this month than it was last month, or what your regular or normal bill is. So you need to check your statements for accuracy. Now, even if you don't use your credit card often, so like for myself, I've got several credit cards. I only have balances on 2 of them. So if you don't check your credit cards or you don't use them that often as well, you still need to check those statements. So oftentimes if you got a credit card and has a 0 balance, they don't even send you a statement at all. But if you find yourself getting a statement in the mail and you're like, I wonder why they sent me a statement, you need to open it. You need to open that and see what's going on. It could be that somebody charged something on it, they got your information, and they charged something on your credit card, or it could simply be that they're just notifying you of a change. Could be a change in your interest rate or anything like that. It could be one of those. They could be changing the name of the company, or it could be bought out. So open those statements as well, even if you don't use those credit cards when they come to you. Or it could be this, not even simply, it could be this. It could be that you had that particular credit card set up to pay something for you. And maybe you only pay it once a year, whatever it is. And if you miss it, and then you miss that payment, that's the last thing you want, is to be coming up short, having to miss that payment. It goes in your credit report, especially if you're 30 days late because you didn't notice it in time, or even having to pay the fee for being late. So you got a $10 charge for something that you charge once a year, and then you get a $35 late fee. Who's ticked off? You're ticked off, because that's ridiculous to have that happen. So make sure you check those statements. Even if you're getting those statements sent to you, you're paperless, and you get them sent to you on a monthly basis via email. Then open that email, take a look at it, see what's going on with that particular credit card. So that's something that is a very big mistake that people don't do. They don't check their credit card statements, and I've been guilty of this as well. I do have a credit card. Every month I got $10 comes out. They send me the statement. Boom, I just go ahead and pay it. Just a couple of days ago, I got the statement. I saw the statement. I know it's $10. I just went online and I paid it. So I didn't even open it first. I did open it later, but I didn't open it first. I just know it's $10, or it's supposed to be $10. So I sent the $10 in. So make sure that you do that. Check your statement. And then I did check it, though. Of course, I wanted to take a look at it. So I did check this statement. I'm thinking about changing that because I'm tired of making that payment every month to them. But anyway, that's me. All right. So a second thing that you can do, going over your credit limit. That's a big mistake. That's a huge mistake. You cannot go over your credit limits. Not only can it hurt your credit score, we talked about that utilization, right? So obviously that card isn't anywhere near 30% utilization. You could even be 30% utilization overall with your credit cards, but it's even better, or if you're 30% or lower on each individual card as well. So if you go over your credit limit, that's a big deal. So depending on the bureau, if you look at your credit reports. So depending on if it's TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian, in the details of that particular card, it may say something like high credit. And if you see high credit in there, that number basically is how much you've charged on this card, what your maximum balance has ever been on this particular card. So if you're a lender and you're, evaluating somebody's application for to give them some money, you may be looking at that to see what it is. Like, okay, even if this person has a zero balance on it now, or just a $200 balance, and they got a limit of $5,000, they may still be looking at that and say, okay, this person did go over their limit at one point in time. So you want to make sure that you don't go over the limit when it comes to your credit card. Now that's the credit side of that. You don't want to go over your limit. That's detrimental to your score. But financially, some of the places even charge over the limit fee. So not only are you maybe struggling and you need to use that credit card, I don't care what, to buy groceries, or it snowed unexpectedly and you need to get some boots or what have you for your kids or what have you. So you used it. You went over the limit, so you didn't have the money in the first place. Now you've got the regular payment. You've got your over the limit fee, which could be anywhere $25, $35. I don't know what it is exactly. And there's some legislation out there that's trying to limit what that particular fee could be for you. But still, if you've got to pay that in addition to your regular payment, that's really not good for you. So technically, you need to listen to this. A lot of people say, well, my limit is $300 on a particular credit card. I only charge $290. Well, you charge $290, and you didn't go over your credit limit in that regard. But when the finance charges get added to your credit card, then it may push you over the limit. So technically, you didn't go over the limit on what you charged, but when the finance charges got tacked on, and let's just say they're $12, so now you went from 290 to 302, but your limit's only $300. That's going over your limit. So like I spoke about the high credit on your credit report, then it may report 302 as a high limit. Not a big deal, not necessarily a big deal, but when you're trying to get the best credit score you can, you're trying to close on this home, get this car, whatever it is, open your business, and you got to use your own personal credit, whatever it is, that can come back to bite you. So make sure you pay attention to all of those things as well. Make sure you do that. And sometimes the credit card companies will let you go over your limit. You know, you have a balance of $250 and you're at the store and you're buying something that's $60, but your limit is only $300. They might let it go through. They may let it go through. You may not know or exactly what your balance is, and they may let it go through. Well, it makes sense for them to let it go through because you're going to get that charge, you're going to get more interest, and then you're going to get the over the limit fee as well. And God forbid you miss the payment. So if you miss the payment as well, you got $25 over the limit fee. You're late, that's $35 plus your regular payment. They come off like the mob when it comes to that. So you got to pay them $75, $80 for this particular month, and they're taking a whole bunch out of that. It's not actually going down to your balance. So make sure that that you are cautious about that going over your limit. Number 3, closing your credit cards. Now, I don't know how many times we got to talk about this, but do not close your old credit cards. You do not want to do that. If you're going to a specialty store or you're just getting a credit card because you can, and there's like a 12-month no interest. A couple places out there are doing like 5 years no interest option. You don't want to close the credit cards when you're done. Now, the 5-year option, at the end of that, you've probably got all you wanted out of it, but you still don't want to close that card. You may never want to go back to that particular store again, but you don't want to close that card because you got 5 years. If you took the whole 5 years, you've got 5 years of great payment history on a card, and it has a particular limit to it as well. So you don't want to close that card. Now you got the card that you went and you bought a computer or you went and bought something else that at a specialty place that you may not ever go back to just so you can get the 12 months same as cash or whatever it is. You bought a mattress or whatever you want to do. You don't necessarily want to close that card even when it's done. So a lot of people do that. They're like, look, I'm going to get rid of it. I didn't really want this card. I just took it for the extra 5-10% off or whatever it was. They want to close those cards. Keep those cards open as well. Now, the only time, I'm going to give you this caveat, the only time that you really want to close a card if you gotta. If you gotta, you really want to, something about it you don't feel good about, you had to run in with the customer service or whatever it is. If it's 12 months or under, maybe I would say push it to 15 months. If it's only been open 12 or 15 months, then that's a card that you can go ahead and close instead of keeping it long term. That may be something that you can do about 12 or 15 months. But this is only for people that have established credit already. So if you already have established credit, I don't care what the score is, if it's 650 or especially if it's a 700 or 800, you already have established credit, knock yourself out, go ahead and close those cards. If you're someone that used that particular card to help you establish credit or reestablish credit, you want to hold on to that particular card. So you want to keep it because it's working to your advantage. So never close those cards. Oh, and the other thing too about cards and closing them, don't close a card with a balance on it. So I don't care how ticked off you got talking to the customer service person or how bad they messed up. If they corrected the error, then good for you. If they didn't correct the error, file a dispute somewhere or send a report against them to the credit bureaus or somebody. But don't close a card if you have a balance on it. That works against you in so many different factors because it's going to increase. That's going to increase your credit utilization if you close a card, but you still have a balance on it. It's absolutely going to hurt you. So if you got $1,000 limit on a card, you only owe them, you owe them $500, and you decide to close that card, then now you still owe somebody $500, but you don't have the advantage of having that limit of $1,000 to help your credit utilization. So if you've got a balance on a card, do not close that card. Wait till you pay it off. If you want to close it so bad, wait till you pay it off, and then you go ahead and close that card. All right, so halfway through the show, let me do the question of the day right quick. It's going to be a quick one today. So this question is from Sam from Arkansas. Sam is actually